WTIM morning show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. September is a better breakfast month, and when it comes to making choices about your morning meal, a lot of us could use a little help. I think myself included. 93% of Americans believe that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but less than half of us eat it. If you're one of those breakfast skippers, you may not think it's a big deal to miss breakfast or that there's not enough time to fuel up before heading out the door. Here today to give you the rundown on the importance of breakfast and how dairy foods can help you build a better breakfast. It's Kelsey Bentledge, registered dietitian with the St. Louis Dairy Council. Thanks so much for being here, Kelsey.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I must admit, I didn't have breakfast this morning. I know, it's a sin.
Avery.
I know, but maybe you can remind me why breakfast is so important. So maybe I'll get it in tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. So breakfast is, after all, the most important meal of the day. We've all heard that slogan. And research really shows that adults who are regular breakfast eaters are more likely to meet all of their vitamin and mineral requirements. So especially since dairy is such a big part of breakfast, they're reaching their calcium goals, their vitamin A, vitamin C, riboflavin, zinc, iron, all of those good things we need to get in throughout the day. People are meeting those if they're eating breakfast. The other big thing about breakfast is that it helps our kiddos to concentrate better now that kids are back in school. If they don't have a rumbling belly, they are able to concentrate better throughout the day. So that's a big plus with breakfast as well. And also for those of you out there that are, trying to diet or lose a little bit of weight, eating breakfast is so important for that because it helps to regulate your metabolism, and skipping breakfast really forces the body to stay in a fasting state for a really long period of time, which is not ideal for that. So we want to keep that metabolism going and eat a little bit all throughout the day.
Now, there are a few reasons, obviously, why someone might not eat breakfast. Mine this morning, I don't have time, right? And that I hear that all the time. I didn't have time to eat breakfast this morning. So, obviously, that's one reason. Maybe you could provide a solution for that, or maybe some other reasons for why people skip breakfast, and also some solutions for those if you have them.
Absolutely. So I don't have time is the biggest reason why people skip breakfast. And I have to say, I've been guilty of that before too. But spending a few minutes in the morning to eat that morning meal really helps save you time in the long run, helps recharge your brain and body, helps you be more efficient throughout the day. So it really ends up saving you time. I know for me, mornings are just really pressed for time. So I try to prepare ahead of time and make a breakfast on a Sunday, like a breakfast casserole, and then eat it all week long. So that's one way you can kind of save on time there too.
Meal
The other one that
preparation.
people
I beg your pardon. Continue. I didn't
no,
mean to
go for
interrupt
it.
you. I just was summarizing what you were saying. Meal preparation. Continue on with your thought.
It does. Meal preparation makes a really big difference. So if you have it ready to go, you're more likely to eat it, especially if you're not hungry when you wake up. If you have something to take with you out the door to eat whenever you do become hungry, that might be a really big help as well.
Yes. Yeah, right. Because some people just, they're not thinking about eating right off the bat. They don't feel, like you said, they just don't feel hungry. Well, what about some of the other reasons? Or maybe if you have any, I don't know if I'm skipping over anything, but just, moving down the list of reasons
Yeah,
why,
yeah.
perhaps.
Well, another reason why people skip is they're watching for their calories. And this is, they think, oh, well, if I skip a meal, then I'm missing out on some of those calories. Surely I'm going to lose some weight. This is actually not a great idea because I already said this. If we eat breakfast, it gets our metabolism going. So this actually backfires on people because it messes with their metabolism. And breakfast skippers actually tend to eat more food than usual at the next meal because they're so starving. So that's one reason why you don't want to skip that. If you're watching out for your calories, it does end up backfiring, unfortunately. And then the last reason is people don't feel like making anything first thing in the morning. And then that goes back to the little bit of meal prep. Even if you're just doing cereal and milk, that's pretty minimal prep, and you're getting some if you're especially if you're doing a high fiber cereal and then you're getting all that good nutrition from milk, that's an easy thing to pull out in the morning too.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a pretty like a good summarization of why people don't eat breakfast. So, what exactly is a good, healthy, balanced breakfast?
Yes. So, what should we be eating for breakfast? So, we really should be looking to aim for about 2 to 3 food groups. So, our food groups are our dairy foods, protein, whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. So, we need to be getting about 2 or 3 in of those a day. So, you make sure you're getting in low fat dairy, whether that's just a glass of milk with your breakfast, or yogurt or cheese, getting some sort of whole grain in, whether that's bagels or toast or your whole grain cereal with your milk. Making sure you're getting in a lean protein as well is a really good option for breakfast. And then seeking in those fruits and vegetables. So it could be fruit on your yogurt parfait or a vegetable in your omelet. It doesn't mean, you have to eat carrot sticks at breakfast, but that's a really good opportunity to sneak in some extra fiber and good nutrition to get you through until your lunch meal.
Now, you're a registered dietitian, and I know you focus a lot on dairy, but if for a moment I may step out of the realm of dairy and just go into general nutrition cap for a moment mode. I have heard a lot about intermittent fasting. Is that something you're familiar with?
I am. It's a super popular fad. You know that there's always different fad diets going around,
Mhm.
and intermittent fasting is really popular right now. As a dietitian, I definitely don't recommend it because it does affect the way that your body metabolizes food. So it is maybe something that you can do short term, but it's not something that is really sustainable long term, and it does affect your metabolism in the meantime. So that's my best advice with intermittent fasting.
Right. And just to provide a little bit of background with what intermittent fasting involves, typically it does involve skipping breakfast, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about here today. You skip your morning meal, you eat for like the last 8 hours of your day, and then you cut it off, and then you don't eat again for the next little while. It sounds like to me the biggest problem with that is what you already suggested is that it's not sustainable, that you're going to break that
Yes.
eventually.
It's not sustainable, and also think about all that good nutrition that you're missing out at that meal. So I said most adults that do eat breakfast, those are the people that are meeting their nutrient requirements for the day. So we're not fueling our body properly whenever we're not getting all that good nutrition in. So that's another good reason too.
What about breakfast makes it a good time to absorb all that stuff? Is there anything biologically speaking, or is it just the way that we kick our bodies off?
It's just breaking it. Literally, the name says it. It's just breaking that fast first thing in the morning. We don't necessarily absorb the nutrients any better at breakfast than we do at any other time of the day, but it is a great way to start your morning off getting in that good nutrition so to carry you throughout the day. So
Mhm. Absolutely. Well, I want to continue to talk about how dairy can make a great breakfast with you. That is registered dietitian with the St. Louis Dairy Council, Kelsey Bentledge here on the WTIM Morning Show. More from her after this short break right here on WTIM, your information station. Your stream on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com's Facebook and on WTIM TV, YouTube, brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first.
WTIM. Taylorville Care Center, caring for the community for nearly 50 years.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm here on the phone with registered dietitian with the St. Louis Dairy Council, Kelsey Bentledge, and she's talking to you about Better Breakfast Month and how dairy can play a role in providing a better breakfast. So let me ask you just that, Kelsey. Why is dairy an especially good choice for breakfast?
Well, I always say when I come on the show, dairy milk especially provides 13 essential nutrients for our bodies, and that carries us throughout the day. One big perk of including dairy foods with your breakfast meal is just the protein content. So there's about 8 grams of high quality protein in every serving of dairy or more, like yogurts and things like that have more protein. And that protein helps you to stay full so you're not snacking all day long, carries you through to your next meal. So that's a really big perk that comes with having dairy with your breakfast. And like I said, it's a nutrient powerhouse. You're getting calcium and those 13 essential nutrients as well. Also, it's just quick and convenient. You can take, a little yogurt cup on the go, cheese stick on the go, things like that. Or even if you're into smoothies, that's something you can make at home and take on the road. So it's really quick and convenient and affordable as well. So milk is about 21 cents a cup. So that's a really big nutritional bang for your buck to get all that good nutrition first thing in the morning.
Well, do you have any suggestions on how to bump your breakfast up with some dairy?
Oh, of course. There's always ways we can add in dairy to our breakfast meal. So one of the easiest ways is just including a glass of milk with your breakfast. But we can also use milk in other ways. If you're not into just drinking a glass of milk, you can add it to your eggs to make them nice and fluffy. You can add them to oatmeal or add it to your pancake mix, and it makes it even better flavor. You can also do like a yogurt parfait that gets you some fruit, and granola gets you some whole grains. So those are your 3 food groups first thing in the morning. You could try making like a coffee latte with milk. I know in the summertime when it's real hot, I like to freeze chocolate milk ice cubes, and then that's my creamer for the milk for my coffee. I just pour the coffee right over those chocolate milk ice cubes, and it's super delicious. You could also just simply add some cheese onto your scrambled eggs, or take some flavored milk, some chocolate or strawberry milk, and have that as well. So there's a ton of different ways you can add dairy into your breakfast.
I know every month the St. Louis Dairy Council does a great job keeping up with their theme. Of course, it's Better Breakfast Month this month, and they usually have a recipe that you can make at home. So tell me a little bit about that if you have it available, and if you don't have it in front of you, where can folks go find it?
So I do have it in front of me. We have a ham and cheese muffin recipe, which goes along with the theme of what we were talking about. If we prepare for breakfast, then that saves us a little time in the morning. So it's one of those recipes you could maybe make on a Sunday and then eat all throughout the week. So it's a ham and cheese muffin recipe, and that recipe is listed on our website at www.stldairycouncil.org. I also know it's already up on our Facebook and Instagram too. So it's at STL Dairy Council is the handle for that.
Sounds like a great way to just grab and go. Eat it on your way to work.
Yeah.
Still pay attention to the road.
And I can tell you they're delicious. Mm-hmm. I like to take them on my way to work in the morning too.
Mm-hmm. Well, anything else that you'd like to say about a better breakfast overall?
Just make sure, you're getting in the most important meals a day. And before I forget, we have an Adopt-A-Calf program going on right now for teachers. So if you're a teacher, if you have any teacher friends out there listening, make sure to sign up for our Adopt-A-Calf program. It's a virtual reality where you pick your farmer, pick your baby calf, and then you get to get updates about your calf every single month, as well as educational materials throughout the school year.
So this is a real calf through a virtual reality program, or is it virtual? Is it a virtual calf?
It's It is a real calf. I said that a little bit confusingly. It is a real calf that the farmer takes pictures every month of the baby calf, but it is just sent virtually. So it's an email-based
I
program.
see. I understand. So you don't have to go in person and take care of the calf. Is basically the idea behind a quote unquote virtual program.
Exactly. The farmer takes care of the calf, and you guys just get to enjoy learning about the calf and all the good things about dairy with the program.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And again, I'm sure that's on your website and social media pages.
Yes, it is at www.stldairycouncil.org.
Speaking of calves, not live ones, I know you learned a lot about the Illinois State Fair butter cow. What's something that you learned about the butter cow that you maybe didn't know about before?
I learned at the state fair that they recycle the butter for the butter cow.
Interesting. Do they
freeze it.
really?
Yeah, so they freeze it all year long and then get to use it again the next year. So that's a great way to not be, wasteful with the butter and all that.
That was my biggest question is what do they do with the butter when it's finished? So you're telling me they scrape it all off, collect it, and then freeze it, and then use that same butter for the next year.
Exactly. Yes, and they have the same artist do it every year.
Needless to say, you probably wouldn't want to eat that butter.
That's fair. We'll take the butter from the store.
Right. Well, Kelsey, I know you've got to go here in just a moment. So if you briefly I would appreciate if you just kind of give an overview of what you've been talking about here today on the WTIM morning show in terms of dairy and better breakfast.
Yeah, so we've been celebrating September being Better Breakfast Month. So all of you breakfast skippers out there, we're looking at you. Make sure that you're getting in the most important meal of the day, and also make sure that it includes dairy. You need 3 servings of dairy every day to meet all your nutrition needs. So that's a great place to start.
That's St. Louis Dairy Council registered dietitian Kelsey Bentledge. Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Thank you, and have a great month.
Your stream brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. You can find those streams online on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. You can also go online to TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and listen live to WTIM morning show segments or the archive segments when you click on the WTIM podcasts. It's WTIM's morning show.
WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Britain's Queen Elizabeth placed under medical supervision with her